What is going on, guys? It is Skydie coming at you with yet another Bedrock preview. We have just been given another one yesterday at time of recording and hopefully at time of uploading this video. This preview has quite a lot in it, so there is a lot to cover. We're going to start with spears. Spears are nice. They exist now. This is a selection here of every spear that is available. We go from wood all the way up through netherite. Every tier has a spear, because that's how it works. This is the crafting recipe for the spear. Obviously, you just replace the iron with whatever. So you could do your wood, your stone, your copper, iron, gold, diamond. You can make the netherite spear the same way you would make anything else netherite. The thing about the spear, right, is that you have slightly improved range that you would not have with, for example, a sword. There's also this charge attack that you can do with it. If I can figure out how to do that. Ah, yeah, here we are. So if we just hold down and run, it is a nice little charge attack that we can do. The spears are nice. They are cheap ways to make weapons. As you can see, there is a little cooldown there with this jab attack. It comes with its own, host of issues. I mean, as far as like Bedrock and Java parity are concerned, that I will probably get into a little later. Or if you guys want to hear a little bit about that, let me know in the comments section. If I don't get to it, I will let you know. It currently has some issues, right? But that is kind of the point of the previews, right? It's for us to be able to mess with things in their current state, and so we can, give Mojang some feedback on that. But here we have our netherite spear. I went ahead and enchanted it a little bit because there's also a new enchantment for the spear, which is lunge. It does exactly what it sounds like it will do. It will lunge us a bit forward. This works in midair. It doesn't seem to work in water, which is actually a good thing in my opinion. I feel like if it did work in water, then we wouldn't, It's basically Riptide, but for not water. It doesn't look like we can go vertically with lunge. But as you can see, this is literally a netherite spear. It doesn't have any unbreaking or anything. But just using the lunge, you can see how much durability that is knocked off. So lunge will do that. It will knock durability off of your spear each time you use it. Similar to like kind of how soul speed works. You're faster on soul sand, but it eats the durability of your boots. Lunge does the same thing with the spear. Now, the main problem with this is that, yes, this is a netherite spear, and you can see how much that is breaking this spear. Like, it's already almost broken, just from us messing around with it as much as we have. So, if we had lunge on, say, this iron spear right here, so now we have lunge on this iron spear. There goes half of its durability. And now it's gone. Like, that is, that's not great. I won't lie. I don't like that. Lunge by itself is a cool enchantment, but oh my gosh, it is a great way to absolutely destroy your spears. So, would I actually want to use it ever? No. No, I would not. At least not in its current form. But everything else about the spears, I like, except for that cooldown aspect. So you can see, I've demonstrated it already, but if you jab with the spear, or if you charge with the spear, the charge doesn't have a cooldown because that wouldn't make any sense. But if you jab with the spear, you get a little cooldown. Say you had a sword, like you could jab and then strike in the same animation, right? So you could start this jabbing animation, switch over to, like, pretend this is a sword, and get a second attack off. just like that. And that's not really, like, you're not you're not supposed to be able to do that. Like, that just doesn't make any sense. Now, bear with me for a second, but imagine Bedrock had the combat cooldown system that the Java version of the game has. That issue would not exist. So they've kind of poorly implemented that into the Bedrock edition of the game, at least as of this preview. That is a criticism that I have about the spears that I definitely wanted to include in this video. Another little functionality bit about spears is that they will do more damage the faster you are traveling. So let's see. The base damage for a diamond spear is only +4. But if we are, like, say we're on a horse, you know, Mounts of Mayhem. That's the name for this drop, by the way. We already have the name, which is funny. We don't normally. Why am I riding the horse? Am I riding the horse backwards, or is his head in the ground? His head's in the ground. Whatever. Ignore that. Anyway, Mounts of Mayhem, right? Obviously, we're on a mount. We're doing some mayhem. Spears will do more damage. If I can actually land a hit, that would be good. There we go. They will do more damage the faster you're traveling. So if we're at full... Yeah, that llama's dead now. Yeah, if we are in full gallop on this horse, we will do more damage with our spear than we would have done just standing still. So, yes. There's probably a better way to actually test that, but I don't feel like it. There you go. There's your head. Hi, horsey. Next thing, zombie horses exist, and it is a whole thing that we have to talk about a little bit. So, zombie horses have existed in Minecraft for years, actually, but they haven't actually naturally spawned in the world. Like, you would have to use a spawn egg or commands to get them. But as of this preview, there is a way that they can naturally spawn in your world. They can spawn with zombies riding them, and those zombies will be carrying spears of their own. I think the only type of spear they can carry, I think it might be copper or iron or both. Don't quote me on that, not real sure. But that is a thing that does exist and can happen. Now, obviously, zombie horses are pretty similar to regular horses, actually, except they just adopt the traits of the undead, right? So, you know, healing potions will hurt them. They burn in daylight, things like that. It's part of the reason why we're doing this one at nighttime. Just in case I got one of these out, they wouldn't burn up. But, I mean, they're passive mobs. So, I mean, like, yes, they're zombies, but they don't care that I'm right here. Other than that, they act like regular horses do. The only real change here is that they will naturally spawn in your world, at least as of this preview, with zombies riding them, and those zombies will be carrying spears. So, I mean, combined with the fact that the faster you go, the more damage your spear will deal. Obviously, that'll apply to the zombie as well. So that is a bit of a dangerous combination when you think about it, right? Yes, it is. However, that's not the only dangerous combination we got going on in this drop, gang. Next major thing for us to look at is the Nautilus. The Nautilus being added in this preview is a good underwater mount, which is actually really cool. I like it a lot. The way you tame a Nautilus, because they can be tamed, is with pufferfish. Similar to taming wolves and such, you kind of just have to feed them pufferfish until they like you. You can saddle one up to ride it around underwater, but there is also Nautilus armor, and I'm pretty sure there's also netherite Nautilus armor that I just did not include here. So, let me use a command and get that real quick. There we are. So yes, these are all of the armors you can make for your Nautilus. I I think it's funny, okay? And I like it. But yes, you can saddle the Nautilus, you can put a lead on your Nautilus and, you know, do everything with your Nautilus. But yes, so when you ride your Nautilus, you get a little status effect, which is great. It is actually an effect that lets you breathe underwater, just from riding one of these guys around. So this is actually a very good early game way to go around underwater and do things like before you have a water breathing potion or something like that. Because again, all you really need to get yourself a Nautilus is some pufferfish and a saddle to ride your Nautilus around. And you can see I am in survival, and you can see I should be taking damage by now, and I am not because of my Nautilus. So yes, the Nautilus for early game especially, but for underwater exploration is absolutely freaking overpowered. And yes, the Nautilus is obviously a mount, so the spear thing also applies with the Nautilus as well. It's also worth saying there is a zombified version of the Nautilus that can spawn naturally. Those will spawn with drowned on top of them, and those drowned will have tridents, and those tridents have the potential to be enchanted as well. So yeah, think about that for a second. That is our other, you know, terrifying combination of hostile mobs that we get in this drop. Zombie horses are to horses as zombie Nautiluses are to Nautiluses, by the way. Yes, you can ride a zombie Nautilus around, but it carries the traits of the undead. So, you know, healing potions will hurt, the sun will burn it, etc. But yes, that is a thing that exists. Basically, if you come across a zombie Nautilus with a drowned, you know, in survival, and you don't have a trident of your own, or you don't have a Nautilus of your own to get away from it, you're cooked. Like, you're dead, especially if that trident is enchanted. So, yeah, that is the Nautilus. The Nautilus is pretty cool. I want to put armor on him. Let's do the gold armor, just because it looks flashy. But yeah, the armor just goes around his shell. And did it hide the saddle? I think it hid the saddle for a split second there. I don't know. I could be losing my damn mind. But yes, you can armor your Nautilus. And if you're in third person, here's another thing I'm noticing about the Nautilus. Your camera angle, you're like really zoomed out. So you're like, you can actually see quite a bit. Your field of view is very, very expanded, which is interesting. But yeah, that's the Nautilus. The Nautilus is actually pretty darn cool. I do like that a lot. I like what I see, to say the least. But yes, so a lot in this preview for sure. Nautilus suffocated in a wall. That's cool. Another thing that's worth noting, yeah, Nautiluses exist. When they die, at least as of this preview, they don't drop Nautilus shells, which is interesting. Nautilus shells is, you know, that's an item that's existed in Minecraft ever since the aquatic update. And as of this preview, the actual Nautilus, you know, the mob, does not drop the shell. But that is probably subject to change. At least I would think so anyway. But yeah, that is our whole Nautilus situation that we've got going on. That is our zombie horse situation that we got going on. And that is our spear situation that we got going on. So we definitely have a good drop in the making this time around, gang. And I am already pretty excited for this, but there are some things that definitely need to be worked on, namely this crap. Like, I no longer have a netherite spear anymore because of lunge. Like, that's ridiculous. I think that that whole thing is a little crazy, as well as the cooldown thing with the spears in general. That definitely needs to be worked on, at least in my opinion. That is my criticism. Everything else I like. But yes, thank you guys for tuning in to this Bedrock preview video. These videos always seem to do well on my channel for, reasons I could guess. So, but I do appreciate you guys watching anyway. Make sure to smash like if you are excited about the Mounts of Mayhem drop. I know I am, because definitely what I've seen so far I do like quite a lot. But that is it for this one. I will see you guys in the next video. Until then, take care of yourselves. Have a good one.